Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the 9,000 subscribers special. First of all, this is all about celebrating you, celebrating your collection, celebrating the franchise. And I want to say thank you to everybody that has supported the channel through watching views, through comments, which great comments, great conversations, a lot of feedback over the past few months, and also all of the likes and the subscribes and all of that, of course. But today we're talking about your collections, and I got a lot of great collections in there, small collections, starter collections, up to big, massive collections, and I'm not here to bash or critique or to criticize. I'm here just to celebrate. I'm here to celebrate the franchise and the collection. I'll leave the bashing and the critiquing to someone else. I do want to say, I did get some comments my first week of this year. I was pretty negative. My whole tone was negative, and I apologize. I did come down with the COVID-19 coronavirus. Should be called COVID-21 by now, right? But wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, but it is serious, and it is a threat. You need to keep your family safe, keep yourself safe, and all that good stuff. But I want to be transparent on this because I was a bit off that week. But anyway, let's get into these wonderful collections coming up. If you want to be part of the 10,000 subscriber special, I'm going to have a link down below, and if I miss somebody, just let me know. I might do something special. But here we are with Billy's collection, and he's got several different pictures here. First off, I want to show that he's added in Skylink since last we've seen his collection. I do kind of like a couple things here with the AstroTurf in there, so it looks like they're in real world ground, and then got some sort of like a lighthouse kind of behind it, showing that they're in a real world environment. Looks pretty good. Here we are with a pretty nice Legends collection here, and it looks good with the fact that they got some sort of the Cybertronian walls on the left and right side. Got a couple of other things in the back there, kind of some accents. You can see the big stuff in the back and the small stuff in the front. Every figure seems to have some sort of a pose, looking like they've got something going on. Looks really good. What I want to say about this picture here, it really looks like this is a really tight, confined space, and utilizing every space you have to display, really cool, really looks good. Would have been nice maybe to see a picture of this is everything and then zoom in. That would have been cool too. Looking at, maybe there's a mirror in the back there, and I think mirror adds depth. If you put a mirror in your collection there, it adds some depth to your collection and makes it look a little bit deeper than it really is. And here we go with some other things going on here. Several different types of Transformers mixed into the same one, with some Earthrise Prime, and I think that's the Earthrise Starscream in there. And I don't know about that jazz, but is that Make Toys jazz? That looks really good. But anyway, some Legends in there also. Nice looking display right here. Of course, we got a Prime and a Megatron going on, and a bunch of other little things. So all of the extra added accessories that they include are in here. And then there's like a big old power sword. Here's a little bit of art. Now, I think that he drew it himself. I'm guessing Billy drew this himself, and I like it. It's kind of fun. You know, it's one way to express what you love and your passion through some art. And if you do your own art, that's artisticness, that's great. I think it looks excellent. And then here's another one, and this one here, I like it because this one is more of the landscape instead of the portrait, and I think that looks really good. And of course, Omega, big. Here's a Bumblebee shelf. Now, I know a lot of people do this. They do like a shelf that is one character, and it does look kind of cool. And I would say if I'm doing a shelf that's a character, it's got to kind of be a progression, like where we came from, where we are now, and everything in the middle. I do really, really like that big Bumblebee in there. I've always kind of liked the oversized versions of these figures. Here we are with a predominantly Megatron shelf. A couple of other things mixed in. I'm sure there's more to what's mixed in than I know, but I kind of like that. Is that a Naruto figure in there? This shelf's kind of a mixture of everything, and again, I like the Fort Max in there, and I think that's a Toy World Fort Max, if I'm not mistaken, but it's still kind of cool, and I like how they're picking up with some of the Legends scale, getting a Fort Max and getting some combiners in there, so Legends is moving really, really fast. We got Headmasters here from the Titan Returns, and looks great. And you've got the main cast going on right here. And of course, taking them out to play, it's always fun to get them out of display and put them out in real world. And this looks good. And I like this. I think that the way this is set up, you got a base mode in there. And of course, you've got a Sentinel in the back, the blue Sentinel, and then the Fort Max. So, and then peppered in just a bunch of different things from a bunch of different genres, or not genres, but a bunch of different versions of Transformers. Here we go with an Optimus Prime shelf predominantly, and then a couple other things mixed in. And is that Mazinger? Am I right on that, Mazinger? Billy, thank you for submitting your collection. It's fun watching it grow and change and shift and all the stuff that you do to display it so well. Thank you so much. So here we go with Brian's collection. And I gotta say, he's put some work into having some backgrounds in there, some pictures in there. I do like the way that looks. Those look very familiar. I like the arc with the bots in there, the masterpiece. It looks really great. Got some pose going on. You can see every figure. You can actually see every figure and clearly see the background. Gives it some scale. Looking at the bottom shelf, we do have some bad guys doing some bad guy stuff and just having some fun. All this posed. So it looks pretty good. And if you walk in, you see it. It looks like you've given enough space for the amount of money you spent on these. Here we go with another shelf. Now, I'm not sure if this is like higher up or just on the other side, but it does look really good here with the Optimus Prime in there and the good guy shelf, the Autobot shelf, and utilizing some of the features that come with the Takara Inferno and holding the first aid there. So that's kind of cool. And then Ravage taking out good old Hound. So having some fun with your display. And then down below, of course, intermingling the Jetfire. I do think Siege Jetfire is excellent. And then all of the other figures in there looking really good. I like the backgrounds too. Brian's also showing off a little bit of Grimlock and some Devastator. This really goes to show that the Masterpiece Grimlock, the original one, looks really good next to the Devastator. And you look size comparison. I think that the Titan Returns Devastator is a good... What was it? No, Combiner Wars Devastator was a good size, good scale. Really wished that Hasbro would have done all of their combiners in that same scale. It would have been awesome. Brian, thanks. Excellent collection. Excellent display. Great job on all that work. So here we go with Brandon's collection. And this here looks really interesting with the fact that you've got a lot of stuff going on this shelf and you can still see every single character. So that's one good aspect to this. And also you've got a bunch of stuff in the bot mode and you got a couple of alt modes going on there. So again, this is appreciation for the mainline, and I think the mainline has really come a long way. And then kind of stepping back, I almost want to make a video talking about what still fits in Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom from all of the previous years, because it's almost like half that stuff got erased, but it looks like a lot of this stuff still really fits well with the new figures. Here we go with some combiners and Overlord. It looks good. I don't know anything about what's going on with the Devastator. Now the Devastator looks like he's got like a dirt wash to it. He's got some scarring to it. Some of the Siege smudge on it, and I think it looks battle damaged very well. I don't know if he did it himself or what's going on with that. That looks interesting. Very interesting. Actually, I've never seen that on the Combiner Wars version. And looking at it next to the Warbotron, this is nice looking right here. Also, the Predaking over on the right. So here we are with some City Bots up at the top. And that's a Zhejiang Jet Commander, which I think is really superior to Combiner Wars or even the Takara Legends or whatever they were calling their stuff, Unite Warriors. But with all this here, you can see the scale. And then you've got a bunch of smaller figures next to those Titans. Everything seems to look small next to Combiners and Titans, and it really works out well the way this is set up. Brendan, thanks for submitting these. Looks very good. Here we are with Chris showing his updated picture of his collection, and this is on top of a speaker, and he says it booms very hard, but yet nothing falls off or changes space, so he's got it displayed very well. It actually goes to showing the build of these figures in Hasbro and the quality that they've done lately, but this is pretty much his workspace, and what a workspace. You know, you can really enjoy your collection and get your workspace done. Fantastic, outstanding. I love the way this looks. I love how everything's in there. You can see every figure, and these are great figures. This is really fun to see all this stuff. I still haven't gotten in hand the Hasbro Quintesson. I know that's going to be awesome when I finally get it. Chris, thanks for the update. Next up, we have a massive collection from Jonathan, and I hope I'm saying that right. But this collection is amazing. This collection is displayed extremely well, very high-end looking. And looking at this right here, I just want to say that we've got like a vertical shelf of all Voltron, and I like how that looks. And there is some serious change dropped just on some Voltron. Then next to it, you've got Unicron, and kind of in the line of the 86 movie, below it, there are 3 of the Quintessons, and then below that, some more of the Hasbro Quintessons. So is that 3 X-Transbots, and then several of the Hasbro, and then, of course, you got to have the Alicons and the Sharkticons. But then going all the way across, it just looks amazing. In person, this would probably blow me away, and that's what I'm kind of expecting. The lighting around it and everything, the way it's set up, it looks amazing. Here is the Devastator shelf, looking outstanding. And we got the Toy World in there, mixed in with the Combiner Wars in the bot mode, and that looks fantastic, outstanding. Just kind of so much fun that you can have with this. Here's a straight on picture of what's going on with just this small segment. I mean, this is only like 2, 4, 5 of what look like 15 shelves. The Detolfs. If they're not Detolfs, then there's something different. I don't know. I don't utilize the glass, even though glass looks so elegant. It does look nice. And then looking at this, leaving enough space for, at the bottom, you see the Superion, and then you see some bot modes of kind of what's going on, looking like we're gonna make another combiner. Looks great. And all over this just looks outstanding, spaced out very well. You see every figure. I really do like what's going on here. Also want to point out the symmetry. So we've got Superion, and then we've got the Omega Supreme down at the bottom, and there's spaced out well. Works very well. Here's an example of a shelf. This shelf here shows some of the newer figures. This looks like Earthrise and Siege and all that going on, mixed in with all the Masterpiece too. Here's the homage to Optimus Prime. And I forget what the gigantic Optimus Prime is called, but he is huge. It's a massive one. And the downside to those big Optimus Primes and Megatrons and stuff is that they won't go so far to dial out a whole cast. But Optimus Prime can command that presence on a shelf, and an Optimus Prime shelf like this looks really good. And here we are with the Junkion planet. Here are the Junkions. This is interesting to see all of them together like this. And we've got Wreck-Gar in the back, and then we've got all the other ones surrounding him, like they're protecting him and stuff. But there are so many different versions. There's a total of 6 now, and here are all 6. So interesting what X-Transbots did with this and how far they've gone. And wondering, are there like an endless number of options for displaying these guys? This looks really good. Here we go with some alt modes all the way across here. And again, giving some love to the alt mode, that's something special in itself. And then putting on top, you know, most people put their big stuff on top. But to put the alt modes on top is way different than what I've seen with a lot of collections. So I have to say, it does look good. It does look elegant. And then look at the rear lighting. Like the lighting down below kind of casts a shadow on the back, and that looks good too. And is that a Just a Toys wheelie? Here we are with Jetfire, Skyfire, and he is just massive compared to everything else, which he should be. Did Fans Toys go too big with that guy? I love that figure so much. Anyway, look at all the rest of them in there, the mini bots and then some of the car bots. It just looks really good, lined up, dialed out. You see them all, you see them well. It really is displayed great. More Autobots right here, looking really good. That's X-Transbots, Trailbreaker in the back there next to the MP44. This is really well spaced out, dialed out, set up, utilizing even that chip. Is that chip in there? Chip Chase? Chip? Anyway, this looks really good, set up just like this. Love it. Here we are looking at all the Quintessons. It looks amazing. That is just outstanding how this looks. I like the green. I don't know. I don't know why. The green is perfect. Absolutely perfect for the lighting on this. This looks amazing. And I love this. It makes me wish I got 4 Alicons. Now I wish I would have got more Alicons. This looks great. I like how it's set up. And integrating the Masterpiece, which is the X-Transbots, along with the Hasbro versions. I mean, you really can't go wrong with either one. Can't believe how much bigger X-Transbots is. I'm going to be reviewing those soon. But wow, this looks great. Here we are with a predominantly Takara and Fans Toys shelf. Well, I guess we're looking at Season 3 or the movie figures. You got Takara, you've got Fans Toys, and some X-Transbots in there. So mixing it up, making it look good. Definitely a great looking shelf. So here we go with some Seekers. And again, these Seekers look fine. These Seekers look great. I just wonder, are you going to upgrade to the Takara? What are you going to do when Takara's comes out? Or are you just going to keep these? I mean, this shelf looks fine. And if I had a shelf and mine looked this good, I wouldn't bother. Here we are with some cone heads and some bugs, and again, that looks good. Utilizing the accessories and putting those pieces in your display. That's where I kind of struggle, is putting the accessories in my display and not making it look junked up. This looks perfect. I love this. Superion is my favorite combiner, so I really understand what's going on right here. We got bot modes for Fans Toys, combine mode for Zeta. That's a great way it's going to work. We have no idea how well Fans Toys is going to hold together because it's going to be massively. It's going to be like 26 pounds. Yeah, maybe not that heavy. Here we are with another shelf here, and this is got a couple of X-Transbots figures on it. I mean, mostly X-Transbots on it. And then, is that the MMC version? That might be the MMC version, which looks good, of the Skylinks. Here we are looking at a bunch of sweeps going on in here. Galvatron, 2 different versions of Cyclonus, Soundwave, all that purple and blue, looking really good. That is a lot of purple and blue going on these shelves. I wanted to throw in this angle right here. This just shows you how long this goes down the hall here. And I just like so much about this. The flooring that went into this is amazing. And then to have the lighting and the shelving, really excellent job. Thank you so much for sharing. I love this. Next up, we have Jason's collection. Here's kind of an overview of Jason's collection before we get into each individual shelf. And this looks nice. Couple things, like I don't even know, how do you get the Decepticon and Autobot symbols at the bottom of this lit up, looking amazing? This just looks great. It's so clean, so neat, so tidy. I love it. And you can look up and down and see everything is posed. Everything is lit. Everything is easily, you could see it. This is a very nice setup. I like it. And we're going to get into this a lot deeper. So here we are looking at an Earth scene with the Ark, hand-built, made this himself. So amazing. The skills are so great. I have seen kind of some similar kind of stuff going on before, but the way this is set up, it looks amazing. I feel like I'm actually in the show, and during the 80s, 1984, here we are with Dinobots, Optimus Prime, and all this going on. Looks fantastic. I love this, and I really wish I had this level of skill. I like the real world rocks in there, and I use granite in mine because for whatever reason I felt like that was the best way to get my elevations going on. But this rock looks so much better, and to get them balanced on imperfect rocks, just that's outstanding. I love that. These rocks are not perfectly flat and level like the granite I use. So this is amazing and impressive. Here's another shelf, and I want to point out, to make a shelf like this had to take a lot of time before you even set a figure in it. And it looks good, and it's paying off serious dividends. And you look in the back there, you can see the Autobot symbol. I don't know how that was achieved. Is that a picture? Is that even a whole other project to create that in the background? That is outstanding. And looking at these figures, they all look like they're doing something that they're posed, they're there, holding that American flag. I love America. Here we go with some Stunticons, doing some Stunticon stuff. Looking really good. I kind of like this. I love how we have the street signs. We got the street. We've got the real world pieces in there. I know this was inspired by someone else that had made this similar type of setup, and yet it's different. Way different than the one it was possibly inspired by. This shelf here shows how you can take 3 big figures. Really, this is 3 figures. And all of the other ones, the smaller figures, the cassettes, are accessories. This is 3 figures with some accessories, and this shelf looks great. And in fact, I wouldn't add anything to it. It looks so good, displayed just like this. Fantastic. And again, I'm still bewildered about what's going on behind them. Like, how did that get achieved? It looks so great. Jason, thank you so much for submitting your pictures, all the work you put into displaying your collection. Fantastic. It's amazing. Here we go with Matthew's collection, and he's got these dialed out on his shelf. And I gotta say that there are so many different elements going on at the same time, and it does look very interesting seeing all of the stuff that you love in one space and be able to get to see it all. Here we go with kind of some older generation. So, you've been collecting for 10, 15 years. You're going to have a whole different slew of different eras. And here they are, all mixed in and looking like they belong in one space, on one shelf. If you expand, there's room for expansion with this, lowering the shelf down and putting another one in. This is a way to go with your collection. Now this shelf here is where he's putting more of the higher end stuff, the stuff that he cares the most about. You could tell. So this is one of the shelves that has closing glass doors in it. There are some figures up top. I mean, that Misfire up there is like $100 figure now. So we're looking at some of the best stuff going in this shelf, and it looks good. Opened up, it looks great. The glass adds a bit of elegance to it, and then again, it does look like all different eras. As you go down lower, there's different eras in the bottom going up to the top, and then there's some box stuff in there. Now I do like this. I like when I get pictures that show you the scale and the scope of your collection and how you look at it when you're sitting back and looking at your collection and going up to the ceiling right there. So we've got a high ceiling in here, and up top utilizing that extra ledge and shelf to display your boxes for your G1 and your G1 Encores and all of that. And then adding in some loose stuff to kind of break up the monotony of just boxes. So that's a good idea right there. I like how boxes look when they're stacked and stuff, but it does get a bit monotonous. So to add in some figures, throw in that Devastator, throw in a few other things, makes it look a little bit more interesting and a lot more fun. Now we're getting into some more of the higher end stuff. Now first off, I want to say this is a mixture of, again, things that he loves. And we've got all these airplanes, these jetliners and stuff going on in there, which are interesting and fantastic. Like, I don't even know where you'd find those. Those are cool. I seriously don't know where you'd get these things. They are very interesting, very cool, and just real world airplanes that exist in the real world. Moving over to the right side, we get to see all the way down masterpiece versions of Autobots, all spaced out. All have different elevations, all easily able to see them all lit up. So looking great there. To the left side, we get the Decepticons. Same way they're displayed, elevated. And at the bottom, we got some Dinobots. I mean, obviously, more Autobots than Decepticons. Find a way to work them in there. Matthew, thank you so much for submitting your collection. Beautiful collection. So many different eras. So much different stuff you have going on in different places. And yet, all looks great. Alright, so Ray is submitting some pictures here. And I gotta say, the center point of his entire collection is this homemade, self-built, do-it-yourself version of the Ark, which looks amazing. And it's relatively to scale, which I've never seen anyone do it. I've never seen one of these made to scale this big. It's impressive. It's amazing. I am very surprised how well this thing turned out. Here we are with the Quintessons, and this has got to be a fan-made stand, light-up stand, or somehow these are lit. I love that. I wish I knew more how these were lit. And of course, this whole scene is fan-made. A great job. A great artistic ability here. I love it. It feels like you're in the movie about to get judged, and I know I'm innocent, so I am screwed. Here's another angle of the Ark, and this thing is showing you how long it goes. Wow, that thing is big. 1, 2, 3, 4 foot wide. That's big. So here are some Masterpiece Transformers, and they are stacked in there, but you can see them all. And the thing about it is, you can see every single figure, every single character. And this feels so G1, feels so 1984 to me. I just really like looking at anything that reminds me of the 1984 G1 Transformers. And this does it for me. I don't know how many people are familiar with the crossover of G.I. Joe and Transformers, but to cross over Megatron with a Mickey Mouse version of Cobra Commander, this makes sense. And this goes back to my love of Transformers and love of Masterpiece. 3 3/4 inch mingling with a Masterpiece. Shall I say more? Ray, thank you so much for putting in your pictures. All the stuff that you have done with your collection looks amazing. I love it. Here we are with Richard's collection, and I thought I had more pictures from Richard, but I only can find this one. So if you have more pictures, please put them in the 10,000 sub special. But I like this because this is G1. And I was asking for vintage, so he gave me vintage. And I think he just pulled out everything he had vintage. And I love vintage. It makes me feel good to see vintage figures and vintage stuff out there. I was really hoping to get like 20 or 30 submissions saying here's my vintage stuff, but the vast majority of my subscribers, I guess, only have modern stuff, I guess. But it would have been fun to do a vintage video, so I'm including this in this video because here we go, and it looks good. So let me know what you think about these collections. Did you get any ideas? Did it inspire you to pull yours out of tubs and boxes and put them on shelves? Because if it did, that's what this video is about. Anyway, like and subscribe. Kadir Hanger out.